Well, good evening, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It's the 12th of November, 2022, Saturday. It's a Veterans Day weekend. Hoping you're having a good one out there. A lot to cover here today, so we're going to move at warp speed. First off, talk some climate cycles here. La Nina is still out there. Looks like maybe it's peaking. So this is an unusual cycle we're in. Negative PDO is just the Pacific Decadal Oscillation cycle, kind of a 30-year pulse. AMO, similar 20, 30-year cycle. So Pacific's cold cycle, PDO, La Nina's cold cycle, and positive AMO is a very warm cycle. So, but it looks like it's peaking here. So this is an event that's only happened twice in history in terms of a third year at La Nina and a cold PDO and a positive AMO. So two-year event out of the past 157 years. So unusual for sure. In part why we have drought, typical drought cycle with these pattern here. So right now, pretty epic. 85% of the country is in a dry to drought phase. So that's extreme for sure, probably near record. At least going back 22 years for sure. Average would be about 47% of the country in dry to drought phases, and last year about 63%. So we will be talking floods here this time, summer next year and fall next year. So again, the cycle is about to end here for this dry phase. Season to date snowfall here, again, as of 11 November, is 239% more than last year for the season so far, but still 16% below average, 16th least in 37 years. So just a hair below average, but again, picking up some ground here. Again, we've had a snowy November start here for sure. Looking at the season to date, Atlantic hurricane season, just about in the history books here. Typically, the end of November is the end of the hurricane season. Florida's clearly been ground zero for the two hurricanes, one major and now Nicole. 17 systems so far this year, 14 named storms, 8 hurricanes. So again, it's an above average season for sure. And obviously damage is catastrophic for Florida and the southeast where Hurricane Ian made landfall. Looking at last week's summary here now, week ending here today, 12 November here in the U.S. About 0.8 degrees warmer than last year, ninth warmest in 37 years above average. You can see that really cold weather, though, all across Canada, western North America here, heading our way in the east here. So enjoy the last few days of milder weather here, but it's about to end here this weekend. Rainfall about 21% wetter than a year ago, 13th wettest in 37 years above average. Snowfall also up 350% more than last year, most in 11th most in 37 years. A lot of that obviously in the west. Really hot spots there in UK, Europe, number one warmest, near record heat. China also very warm, number one warmest in 37 years. Still cold down under in Brazil and where people live in eastern Australia. Maps inset left for the trends versus average. This week, looking like a nationwide cold snap. So that warm day here today is pretty much over in the east, and then cold trends here the rest of the week. Cold for sure, 10.8 degrees colder than last year, coldest in 8 years, second coldest in 37 years. So much below average, almost for the entire country other than maybe Florida. Rainfall, again, about 17% wetter than last year, wettest in 3 years, fifth driest in 37 years. So not much across the Gulf Coast there. And again, any precip to the north is going to be in the form of snow, which is, again, about up 189% over last year and most in 4 years. A cold week for sure. This is great for seasonal merchandise sales. Again, that's typically what we do here is predict year-ahead weather by week, every mile on Earth, 32 million spots, but then also predict these seasonal category sales. We've looked at about 10,000 of these categories that have gone in and out of our system here over the last 20 years. So every degree colder, flu medications are typically up 2%. This week, we're going to key in on 17 November here. This week, Thursday, looks like it's going to be the peak of the really cold trends here. So if we quantify this, again, with our power of one here, cold flu medications, coffee jeans, sales up about 30% here on Thursday. Boots, birdseed, yep, ladies like to feed the birds when it gets cold and snowy, start to worry about the little guys. So that up 45%. Antifreeze for your car of about 60%. Outerwear, your energy bill is going to be up 75%. So this is bad news when you see these bills, which are just consumption alone is through the roof here. Mousetrap auto batteries up about 105%, and portable heaters up a whopping 150%. And that little graphic back there, fire logs typically surge this time of year with the Thanksgiving holiday, so up about 120% just due to the weather, but with Thanksgiving thrown in there, there's going to be some huge demand for fire logs here going into the Thanksgiving, which is typically one of their top 2 peak selling periods for fire logs, Christmas obviously being the second most. We look at next week here, again, Thanksgiving, hard to believe here, but Thanksgiving week here. Again, the trends moderate a bit, but still talking 2.7 degrees colder than last year, coldest in 9 years, 7th coldest in 37 years, so below average temperatures, pretty much wall-to-wall below average temperatures across the country. A dry week, other than the West Coast, 60% drier than last year, driest in 20 years, second driest in 37 years. Again, maybe overdone here, but looks like some rain and snow there for California and the parts of the Northwest, they'll take it. Again, we should go a little further south in California, but at least some rain in California. So good news for their drought. We look at these world 2-week trends here, just aggregating again the next 2 weeks through the 26th of November. Theme is going to be cold in North America, warm, maybe not as warm in Europe, but at least still well above average in Europe, and very hot there in China, and cold down under in Australia. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week here. We will be back here again this time Saturday next week. Talk to you then.